Come in.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Jake.
Very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Oh, you're welcome.
So here's my card before I forget.
All right, thank you.
Now, just to give you a little recap, I recently connected with Bobby Taylor, VP of Sales at a Georgia game. He spoke to me that the Duluth Operating Group may be looking to make a CRM system change in the near future.
Yes.
So he set up this meeting. So I'm really happy to sit down with you today and just kind of learn about your needs and see if Salesforce may be a good fit.
That's great. Thank you.
And before we get going, is there anyone else you wanted to be in this meeting today?
No, not today.
And we have 20 minutes to speak. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Excellent. So I have an agenda for us right here.
Okay.
So I thought we would begin today by talking more about the Duluth Operating Group, learning about your current situation and your current CRM system. From there, if we determine that Salesforce would be able to meet some of those needs, we can move into a live product demonstration. And finally, we'll close out. Does that sound like it could be a good use of your time today?
Yes, I agree.
Excellent. We'll get going real soon then. Do you mind if I take notes during this meeting?
Yeah, no problem.
Fantastic. And I'd like to begin by asking you a few questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So based on my conversation with Bobby at the game, it sounds like your company is looking for a new inclusive CRM system that would allow him to better forecast sales reports from each branch and improve communication between the sales and maintenance teams.
Yep. That, I think you hit the nail on the head. Those are our two main issues.
And before I get any further, I also want to ask, how soon are you looking to make this implementation?
So depending on where we're at, especially after this meeting today, between 30 to 60 days.
30 to 60 days?
Uh-huh.
No problem. So let's start by diving into the current process of forecasting sales.
Okay.
So Bobby is your current vice president. Could you tell me about how that process works for him when he forecasts the sales reports of your teams?
Yeah, so he does that on a quarterly basis. And when the time comes, each one of our branch managers will email the reports to Bobby that they create, and from there he evaluates the progress and he makes any adjustments that's needed for each location.
Okay, so Bobby is able to view that current report each quarter from the individual branches. Is he ever able to look at the status report in between quarters before he's received that new report?
So if you mean in a real-time situation, no. But I would like to think that if Bobby needs some sort of report, if there's any sort of issue, that the branch managers are more than happy to send whatever sales information they have at the moment to Bobby. It's on an as-needed basis.
I completely understand. And so it sounds like he's receiving these reports individually. Does your current CRM system have any kind of method where he can compile the reports and view it as a comprehensive whole of status of the company?
So no, the CRM system does not that we currently have, which is a main pain point that we have, because then that responsibility falls on Bobby to create those reports, because we do understand the importance of having that, being able to see them all on one platform and as a whole, but we just don't have that currently.
All right, no problem. It sounds like that could be, a bit of an inefficient process. And I went ahead and did some research on your current situation. I have your revenue from 2016. I have here that you were at $48.6 million, and that was an increase in growth of 3.5% from the previous year. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
And so looking at that growth is always important, and that's definitely something we at Salesforce work to help with our clients. Do you think that Bobby's current inability to access sales reports outside of that quarterly system and not be able to compile them in a more efficient way could be affecting your ability to forecast growth?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're doing our best right now. We're doing a good job at that. But Bobby is forced to make the recommendations only at the end of each quarter. And so I think that's limiting us whenever we could be doing that all the time. So we could be more strategic in that sense.
Sure thing. And we definitely want to look for ways to streamline that process, make it as easy to understand the current forecasts.
Yeah, yep.
So to better understand, I took your current revenue from 2016 and I mapped it out over 5 years. And my research shows that you're on track to grow incrementally by 4% each year. So if we could have that real-time sales forecasting data from your 4 branches on one single platform available to Bobby, do you think we could see an increase in growth?
I really do think so. I think not only could we see an increase in growth, but we could also see some time saving for Bobby. He wouldn't have to, do those reports anymore.
Absolutely. We want to free up as much time for your VP as possible. Definitely don't want to be bogged down by too many administrative tasks. And so if we change that over and we're able to better forecast your sales reports, how much increase in growth do you think we could see from that 4% per year?
As a president, I have a goal for our company that if we could make those changes, I would like to see us at a total of 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that 6% increase. So we'd, be at a total of 10%.
Gotcha. So 10% growth a year. I think that's definitely a reasonable goal. And
yeah.
You can see how Salesforce may be able to achieve that for you.
Great.
And I see that would be about 4.8 million additional revenue a year.
Yeah, give or take, but around that number.
Gotcha. So now that we looked at your current sales forecasting, I'd like to speak on another issue that I believe is worth noting.
Okay.
Based on what Bobby told me, I thought it would be beneficial for me to not only see the picture from Bobby's point of view, but to also speak to one of your branch managers to understanding the issues they may be having.
Okay.
So I called John over in Nashville.
Okay, yeah.
And he mentioned that one issue they have is that whenever they have a sales rep that may need to get management involved in a particular issue or resolution with a client, that it can be a slow process. Would you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I think what John is referring to is a disconnect of visible information in the terms of that our current system doesn't allow management to view our representatives' client information. So whenever we do need to get involved, either Bobby or I, they have to catch us up on the information. They need to give us the context of what's going on, the recent numbers, and what the issue is. And so it's kind of a lag time just to get us caught up. And we'd like to see that done mostly on conference calls, but sometimes we need to go out on site.
I see. So I can definitely see how that can be a slow process if it takes you all going actually on the side of the branch to really get an idea of what's going on with that client. So it sounds like that point in your current system could be putting a barrier between management and your sales reps. Would you say that slow process could be affecting your ability to give the best experience possible to your clients?
Yeah, I think so. The barrier that you speak of, it's so frustrating because it's an unnecessary barrier, and it's one we didn't foresee, we didn't think would happen. And so I think, at some point the customer must realize, or the client must realize and note that it's taking a bit longer than necessary.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's a slow process, but you all are doing what you can. You're mitigating the issues and going on site to fix the problem. Yeah. And I understand that delivering a great experience is important to the Duluth operating group. And as your business continues to grow and you continue to have more clients at each branch, what do you think is going to happen to these client relationships if these problems continue?
Well, I hope this doesn't continue. Unfortunately, if it really came down to it and more clients start noticing how long it takes to fix some issues, which is on our end, then I would be afraid that we would lose some clients. And if we didn't lose them, then they would order, or they would want our services less. They would probably start looking for alternatives.
I completely understand. Definitely sounds like an issue that could be, resolved sooner rather than later.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why, I'm in this meeting today.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for being here. So now that we're talking more on a client to sales rep level, I think this would be a good time to look at how your sales reps process maintenance requests from their clients. I understand that you have two teams at each branch, a sales team and a maintenance team. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So could you tell me how a rep would process a maintenance request to send it over to the management team?
So once the client has decided on whatever service that they want, our sales reps will directly contact the maintenance manager in that territory and via email, and then it's on that maintenance manager to allocate someone to fulfill that service.
So it sounds like your sales reps individually contact the maintenance manager for a new request.
Yeah.
And that sounds like it could be a time-consuming activity. Could you put a number on, maybe how long it takes a sales rep a week to have conversations with a maintenance rep back and forth?
So I would say that's it's a huge part of our business model that we spend about 1 to 2 hours a day directly communicating with that maintenance team. And the time consuming part is not just inputting the order, but it's whenever we have to go back and forth and discuss maybe if the client needs a change or they request something different, and we need to make sure that gets correctly communicated to our maintenance team. So that's where the time.
I understand. That's definitely very interesting, and that's a problem that we hear a lot from our clients that come speak to Salesforce looking for a solution, is that issue of collaboration and communication between two different teams.
Yeah.
I brought some of my own client data here to look at some of the changes we've made recently. And I have a client that's in a similar situation as yours, similar sized company. And in the first 18 months of implementation, we were able to give their sales reps up to 10 more hours a week by having their order generation be through Salesforce rather than individual emails and phone calls.
Okay. Wow, that's great.
If we could make a similar change to the Duluth operating group's process between your sales reps and your maintenance groups, what do you think could happen to your sales team? How could they better use that time?
Well, I think a large part of what we're looking for, making a shift toward in the sales department, is focusing more on prospecting. So prospecting that new business, going out in those territories and seeing, what buildings are being built and who we can target next, and ideally not only prospect but convert those to accounts.
So making that conversion from your prospects or turning your leads into real accounts.
Yeah.
What percentage increase do you think we could achieve for your sales force if we helped streamline their ability to contact their maintenance reps?
Yeah, so I think by having a simpler method to have some sort of platform where they can all communicate together, I think that then they would, like I said, prospect more. And I would, once again, as a president, I would like to see a 10% every quarter of accounts.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So a 10% increase in new accounts for your sales reps?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. That's I think that's a reasonable, and I have faith in my salespeople that they can make that happen if we give them that time back.
Gotcha. If we can achieve and address that concern. Excellent. So I've really enjoyed our conversation today, getting to know your current situation, looking at the ability to have better forecasting for your sales reps, increasing that client information visibility between management and your sales reps.
Okay.
And then finally, streamlining the process of your sales reps inputting new maintenance requests for the maintenance team. So I believe that Salesforce would be a good fit to address some of these problems. And if it works for you, I'd like to move into a live demonstration and see how exactly the benefits of Salesforce could directly address these concerns.
Yeah, I would love to. I think we've had a great conversation, so I would like to see this.
Okay, sure thing. So I've got my laptop right here. I'm going to pull it up, show you some of these key points we talked about, and let you actually touch the product and do it yourself so you can see what it's going to be like for your sales reps.
Okay, yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Let me pull it up for you. So here we are on the Salesforce dashboard.
Okay.
And so the first thing I'd like to look at with you are those sales forecasts we spoke about for Bobby.
Yeah. Okay.
So this would be the sales executive dashboard. And what's fantastic about this is that Bobby can customize this to look at each individual branch, or he can blend them together and have a quick overview of the company.
Wow. Okay. So no more of Bobby having to do it himself.
Absolutely not. Okay. Yeah. So click right there and scroll over there. Yeah. So that's how he would generate that detailed report. And this would be accessible to him whenever he wants, just not just on a quarterly basis.
I understand. But we can still create quarterly reports.
Correct. Yeah. You can create a number of reports on here. But I think the real benefit of this feature is it's really going to save Bobby a lot of time speaking individually to each branch manager because he'll be able to see their progress right here without having to contact them first.
Okay. Yeah, this is great. I'm glad something like this does exist.
Excellent. So let's take a look at that next point, the client information. We spoke about your sales reps maybe having a problem with a client that would need to involve management.
Yeah.
Then we talked about the steps management would have to take to get caught up, speaking directly to the branch.
Yeah.
Exactly. So right here, I'd like you to click on accounts.
Okay.
And let's go to that one right there.
All right, got it.
So this is a perfect example of a client account page. And what's really interesting is it's going to show all the details, what sales reps have been assigned to this client and what communications they've had in the past year.
Okay.
So no longer would your information be siloed to each branch.
Yeah.
But if you had a branch manager contact you or Bobby and say, hey, I'd like you to take a look at this client's information and give me some advice on where to move forward, you'd be able to do that right here from your desk without having to visit with that branch manager.
That's great.
So I think the key benefit here would be giving more value back to your clients. I think if...
Oh, yeah.
I'd say if Bobby could contact that client and know all their information, your client would feel, this company really cares about me and understands my issue.
Yeah, that is... Wow. You took that even a step further because now, we're connecting this to our clients and how we can better serve them.
Absolutely. And, at Salesforce, we just try to drive value any way we can back to our clients. And so the very last part I'd like to look at would be the order processing for the maintenance requests on your sales rep. If we go to accounts again.
Okay.
And we'll just click on any one.
Okay.
So here you can look at where they are in the order pipeline. And so what's fantastic about this is your sales rep will be able to go onto here, process a maintenance request order, and without having to email or contact the branch maintenance manager, they'll immediately receive this information.
Yep. So they'll get a notification about this, that something's popped up.
Precisely. And so this is giving your sales reps that much extra time each week. That way they can be working on, you said, generating new leads or following up on some of those prospects.
Yeah, great.
And furthermore, I know you spoke that the maintenance rep would often still need to contact the sales rep just to make sure you got everything right.
Very often.
We have this groups feature right here.
Okay.
And they could communicate through this platform, and you can see your full conversations. That way there's no referring back to old emails or phone calls or, physical notes that sales rep may have taken.
Oh, that's great.
And so the benefit here is your sales rep and your maintenance team will have a better relationship. It's more streamlined, and it's all right here. So if your manager needs to get involved, you can see everything.
Oh, and they have the power to be able to look at that and see, I got it.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else you want to see on Salesforce before we finish up today?
I don't think so. I think you've really addressed everything. I'm impressed. This is
Thank you so much. That really means a lot coming from you, and we so much appreciate you taking the time to work with us today.
Well, that's great. And I know you mentioned about small to medium-sized companies, and sometimes budgetary restraints are an issue, and so I think this is an appropriate time to bring up how much would this cost me and the company.
Sure thing, and I can definitely understand the concern about cost.
Yeah.
Moving from a new system is always costly one way or another, but I think it's important we can focus on the value.
Okay, yeah.
So I saw that it looked like you would have around 35 people using your system, and with our installation fee and our monthly fee, it would come out to a total of $53,700 for the first year.
And that's for the first year?
That's for the first year of implementation.
All right.
However, I don't want to focus on this number. I'd really like to focus on the value that moving over to Salesforce would bring to your team.
Okay.
The three things we looked at were improving your client relationships.
Yes.
We saw the 10% a year goal of increased growth.
Yep.
That resulted in
$4.8 million.
$4.8 million.
Okay.
I think that is more than achievable by switching over to this and allowing Bobby and your sales team to have better and more accurate forecasts. And then finally, by switching over the order processing, we're giving 10% increase in new account generation for your sales reps.
Yep.
So I think
important.
When we compare those three values to the cost of the $53,000, I think it definitely outweighs the physical cost of Salesforce. And moving forward, it's going to continue to generate more value for your business.
Yeah, I really am happy that you put it that way. It makes, the $53,000 seem less intimidating, certainly.
So thank you so much. And does that make you feel better about the cost overall?
Yeah.
Excellent. So now that we've finished everything, how do you feel about moving forward? What are your thoughts?
So, I guess I am the president, so I'm not sure if I actually would need to speak to anyone else, but I would just like to sleep on it and just... I would really like to follow up with you, though, next week.
Sure. Let's set up a time. Would you be able to meet on Tuesday?
I believe Tuesday. If not lunchtime, then maybe the afternoon, somewhere around dinner time.
Sure. We'll do Tuesday afternoon, and I'll take a look at your calendar and see what works best.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Thanks for being patient with me. I really like what I heard, but I just want to make sure that's the right decision.
Of course, and we want to give you as much time as needed. Definitely speak to Bobby, look at the rest of your team, and try to determine if it's a good fit for you. And if so, we'll meet back up and we'll see how we can make this happen.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time today. You've been very respectful of my time, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
All right, thank you. Oh.